It's easy to think our obsession with celebrities is, well, a pretty modern thing, right? But it turns out we've been fascinated with famous people for over a century. And one of the most surprising and kind of weird ways to see that is through lookalike contests. Seriously. Their history tells this amazing story about how our relationship with the stars is always changing. So let me ask you this. Before Instagram, before TikTok, before you could just see what your favorite actor had for breakfast, how did regular people get a taste of that Hollywood glamour? How did you bridge that huge gap between your life and theirs? Well, the answer is a wild ride. It starts not with a person, but with an ancient statue. Then it gets totally flipped on its head by the world's first global movie star, and it brings us all the way to the viral trends we see today. And what's so fascinating is that as the way we imitate people has changed, it shows us how technology itself has completely reshaped what fame even means. Okay, so let's dive in. We're going to start our story way back, before movies were even a thing, with what you could call the original lookalike contest. And trust me, it is probably not what you're picturing. So get this, the very first lookalike contests weren't about looking like a specific person at all. Nope, they were about looking like an ideal, an ancient Greek statue, the Venus de Milo. They were called modern Venus contests, and the entire goal was to find a woman whose body perfectly matched this classical, idealized form. And they were surprisingly technical about it. I mean, judges would take up to 60, that's 60 different body measurements to see who was the closest match to the statue's proportions. It had nothing to do with your face. But this whole thing, it really set the stage. It planted this core idea of comparing an ordinary person to a famous, almost mythical figure. And then a new technology came along and changed everything: cinema. It didn't just create movie stars, it created a whole new kind of global celebrity. And with that came a brand new way for fans to feel connected. This was the big turning point. For the very first time, a single person's face, Charlie Chaplin's, was instantly recognizable to millions of people all around the world. Technology had taken a human face and broadcast its fame on a scale that before then was pretty much just for kings and queens. So why Chaplin? Well, honestly, because he was just so easy to imitate. That little toothbrush mustache, the bowler hat, the baggy suit, that unforgettable walk, all of it was simple and cheap to copy. This meant that all these informal grassroots contests started popping up everywhere. It was a true fan-driven phenomenon. And this was a huge moment. The scholar Jack Bradich calls this the birth of mediated celebrity. Basically, fame wasn't just something that happened naturally anymore. Now it was being actively built, manufactured, and amplified by this whole new machine of movie studios, tabloids, and talent agencies. The game had totally changed. And with all this new power, the Hollywood studio system saw a golden opportunity. They took this grassroots fan thing and turned it into a powerful marketing tool for themselves. So from the 1930s all the way to the 60s, the contests were all about the big stars of the day. You had competitions for everyone from the kid star Shirley Temple to bombshells like Marilyn Monroe to singers like Frank Sinatra. The contest basically became a perfect reflection of who the studios were pushing at that moment. And the reason why was crystal clear: marketing. It was a publicity stunt, pure and simple. There's an old exhibitor's manual for the 1956 sci-fi movie Invasion of the Body Snatchers that literally tells local theaters to conduct a search for the local girl who looks most like the star of the film. Yeah, these weren't just for fun anymore. They were a calculated part of the hype machine. So let's do a quick recap. We've seen this really clear progression, right? From imitating an ideal body with the modern Venus, to copying a global face thanks to Charlie Chaplin, and then to Hollywood turning that imitation into a powerful marketing tool. And every single step was powered by changes in media and technology. Now, after that big studio era, lookalike contests had this massive comeback in the 1970s and 80s. But this time, the very definition of a celebrity was starting to get a whole lot bigger. It wasn't just about movie stars anymore. Not at all. Now you had contests for musicians like Elvis and Dolly Parton, royalty like Princess Diana, and even historical figures like Abraham Lincoln and Ernest Hemingway. Pop culture was just exploding, and the people we wanted to imitate were exploding right along with it. And once again, technology changed the format. Instead of just local, in-person events, mass media, like big magazines, started sponsoring mail-in contests. Now fans could join in from anywhere in the country just by sending in a photo.
The process was becoming decentralized all over again. Which brings us to today, and the difference is just night and day. We've completely shifted from that top-down Hollywood model to the user-generated world of social media. We've gone from studio-run events to fan-organized hashtags, from local meetups to global viral trends, from formal promotions to just spontaneous digital fun.
The speed and scale of it today is just staggering. Thanks to social media, a lookalike contest for a star like Timothee Chalamet can pop up in an afternoon and spread across the entire world by that evening. It's instant. And as Jack Brodage points out, there's a fascinating new layer to all this. The contests themselves have become viral things that imitate each other. So we're not just imitating celebrities anymore, we're imitating the act of imitation. It's created this whole new meta lookalike culture. So after this whole journey from ancient statues to social media, what's the common thread? What does this century of imitation really tell us about our deep connection with fame? At the end of the day, it really comes down to this core human impulse. It doesn't matter if it's a careful measurement against a statue or just a quick selfie for a TikTok trend. Imitation is about connection. It's our way of taking these remote, untouchable figures and, through our own bodies, bringing them down to earth. It makes them feel a little more human and a little closer to us. Which leaves us with a final thought. In our world of digital filters, deep fakes, and AI, where a face can be completely changed or just generated with a click, what does it even mean to look like someone anymore? As technology keeps blurring the lines between what's real and what's fake, our century-old tradition of imitation might just be entering its most complicated chapter yet.